Hello chess lovers, a very warm welcome to our YouTube channel from Nalanda Chess Academy Shimoga. Please subscribe and join us in the pursuit of chess excellence. In our last game, we saw the topic attack on the uncastled king. Today we are going to continue with the same topic and look at one of the brilliant games played by William Steinitz. This is in fact an immortal game from William Steinitz. He is the first world chess champion from 1886 to 1894. Without further ado, let's dive into the game. So white is played by William Steinitz. So he continues with pawn king 4, that is e4, and black plays e5. Knight f3, knight c6, and white plays bishop c4, bishop c5, and pawn c3. So this is called the Italian or the Guico piano. This is the standard moves that we are seeing. Black plays knight f6, pawn d4, and black plays e into d4, c into d4, bishop b4 check, knight c3. Again, all these are standard opening moves. So black has two options here. Knight into e5 is also one of the main moves, but black plays pawn d5. So this is again opening preparation by black. So white continues to play e into d5 and knight into d5, and now we see that black is attacking the knight on c3 while the bishop has already pinned this. So we already saw in our previous games, that this is called the absolute pin. Now instead of guarding the knight, white continues with his development and plays short castling, and here black can capture or black can win a pawn if he continues to take the pawn knight on c3. Instead, he chooses to play bishop e6 and continues to develop his pieces. So white has almost completed his development except for the bishop on c1. So even that is complete now by playing bishop g5. Now the bishop on b4 is not serving any purpose, so he draws that back and plays bishop e7. Now we see that white makes a series of exchanges in order to gain advantage. Let's see what that advantage is. Knight into knight, bishop takes knight, bishop takes bishop, and queen takes bishop. And again bishop takes bishop and knight into e7. White plays rook e1, pinning the knight on e7, and black plays queen d7, guarding the knight. So white continues to play queen e2, exerting more pressure on the knight at e7. There is a saying that a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. White has found the weakness on e7 and continues to exert more and more pressure. So black plays f6. So can you guess what he is trying to do? So he is trying to castle artificially, that is by moving his king onto f7 and then bringing the rook out. So this is uh, called artificial castling in crude terms. So white continues to play rook a c1, bringing the other rook on the open file and um, targeting the pawn on c7. So black plays c6. This is called a prophylactic move, and white plays pawn d5. So if you see, the pawn does not have any support whatsoever. The white is freely offering this pawn, but neither the queen nor the knight can capture this pawn. If you capture this with a queen, then queen into knight is checkmate. The knight is already pinned, so you cannot capture this pawn with a knight. So c into d5 is played by black, and white plays knight d4, an excellent move. So if you see, the pawn sacrifice here was made in order to clear the square for this knight. This is called a square clearance sacrifice. I repeat, square clearance sacrifice. So now white is white has played knight d4 and king plays f7. So now white plays knight e6. This is an excellent outpost for the knight. So this is another term, outpost. Knight has an excellent square in e6, knight e6. Immediately the next threat is rook c7. So black plays rook hc8, challenging the rook, and white plays queen g4. So another excellent move by white. So we have a mating threat here on g7. So in order to avoid that, black plays g5. Can you pause the game and find the next, find the best move for white? Congratulations if you have found the move. Yes, the right move is knight into g5. So if you see, this is knight into g5 is a check, and the king has to move while queen is hanging here. So king has to move to e8. Again, can you pause the game and find the next move for white? Congratulations if you say rook into e7 is the next move. So if you look at this move, the rook has no support whatsoever. The knight is hanging, the queen is hanging. Every piece, the rook on c7 is also hanging. Every piece on the board for white is hanging, but none of them can be captured. Such a marvelous position for one to be in. So there are a couple of different options for black here. So let's look at if the black captures this rook with the queen. Let's see what happens. Rook into rook, check. Rook into c8, queen into c8, check. Queen d8. After queen takes queen, king takes queen, knight f3, and white is simply a piece up. So instead of the queen, if black captures the rook with his king, what happens next? Rook e1 check, king d8 because the queen is hanging, knight e6 check, king e8, then knight c5 check. So this is called a discovered check because after the knight has been moved, there is a rook behind the knight that offers the check. And once the king moves away, the knight simply captures the queen, or the queen can also capture. So either way, black ends up with a losing position. So black does not capture this rook either with the king or the queen. Instead, he continues to play with king f8. So obviously black has calculated all the options here and then chosen that king f8 is the best move possible in this scenario. But does this top the woos for black? Never. Rook f8. The rook continues to pester the king. Rook f7 check, and king g8, rook g7 check. So if you see again, neither the queen nor the king can capture this rook. If queen captures this, then again we have rook into, queen into. We already saw this, how it is going to end for black. If if you capture with the king, obviously the queen is on the loose. So black plays king h8, rook into h7 check, king g8, rook g7 check, king h8, queen h5 check. Now king is forced to take the rook, king into g7, queen h7 check, queen f8. Finally, we got the black knight, black queen. So let's capture the queen. So do you think this is the right move? Rook into rook is game over for white. So this is called the back rank mate. we need to be careful in the game uh, for the back rank mate. So instead of capturing the queen, oops, queen h8 is the right move. King e7, queen g7 check, king d8, queen f8 check, queen e8, knight f7 check, king d7, and queen d6 check. What a fabulous game. Hope you enjoyed the game. Please like and comment and let us know if you would like to pick the topic for the next game.